Hey guys, in this video, I want to talk about one of the biggest mistakes that you can make in your recruiting business right now that can absolutely alter the way the rest of the year will play out for you. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Preston. I'm a professional recruiter, agency owner. We work with some of the best companies and brands on the planet, helping them scale their teams with amazing talent. Love what I do every day. Here to give you some tactical advice. So in this video, let's get started. I want to talk about the hidden cost that could possibly be killing your agency. Every agency has one category of problems that absolutely costs more than everything combined. It's not competition, it's not pricing, it's not economy, it's picking and choosing to work with the wrong type of clients. And you knew it or you saw the red flags and you still signed. A single problematic client, to give you perspective, will cost a service business or an agency an average of 4.2x their billed fees and lost time, opportunity cost, and emotional bandwidth. I've been there. It's such a horrible feeling. I'm hoping to prevent you and help you not to be there yourself. Here are some of the 5 flags that you must never ignore. The ability to identify and decline bad clients before they start is worth more than any sales skills. Just because you have a client doesn't mean that you can work with them, doesn't mean that you can make money with them, doesn't mean that you should work with them. Here is a framework built from real data, 5 warning signs that predict a problematic engagement. Number 1, someone who negotiates hard on fees. You're probably excited to be with a client at this point, but if they are so difficult, chances are they would be difficult with a lot of other things. Negotiations, offers, interviews. How you do one thing typically is how you do everything. I have worked with clients in the past that negotiates hard, but they're amazing to work with. But they're the exception and they're the minority. So typically, if you from day one talk to someone and they're just busting your butt, giving you a really tough time, that could be a red flag on what's to come. Number 2, they don't know what they want. If they don't know what they want, how do you know what to find for them? Hey, I'm looking for an engineer. Great. What are the must-haves? What are the nice-haves? I don't know. I'm looking for a marketer that can help me do this. Great. But like, what are the must-haves, nice-haves? I don't know. The difference here is that you risk wasting so much of your time. Even if you understand like 70-80% what they're looking for, you could just constantly get stuck in a chronic, I'm going to find candidates, let's submit them, rejected, no feedback, start again, submitted, rejected, minimal to no feedback, and just continues. You get more frustrated. The client gets more frustrated than you and it ends up blowing back, right? If they don't know what they want, like how can you help them find someone that's perfect for their fit? Because then they're just going to find every reason to prolong, to penny pinch, to tell you, hey, I want to see something else. And they don't have any data or confidence or belief into like why, right? Or give you a justification or explanation. Number 3, they're urgent to start, then they disappear. Like this is the worst. You find great candidates, you create momentum, then it stalls, you don't get feedback, the candidate's experience goes down, you get more frustrated and just prolongs, you don't hear from them from days to weeks and longer, and then like, you know, your whole lifestyle is connected to this client and you were planning on going on an amazing vacation. Once this deal falls through and everything just falls to pieces, right? It's important to work with someone who is, yes, urgent to start, but also maintains that urgency with great communication, great professionalism all the way to the end. They fired multiple recruiters. If they fire multiple recruiters before you, there is a high chance that there is an unrealistic bar and they could fire you too. Be careful. The decision maker is not in the room. You want to talk to decision makers because if not, even if you do your best job, you'll have to get approval, you have to wait for feedback, you have to wait for escalation. It just is such a way to kill momentum and excitement. Work with the decision maker directly. Real quick, if you ever thought about starting your own recruitment agency or you're a recruiter struggling to land clients, you'll want to check out our coaching and implementation program. Inside, I give you the exact scripts, the outreach templates, and acquisition systems I used to hit over $500,000 my first year, scale to over $100,000 months, and do over $5 million in placements on my own desk. Our students are already hitting $30,000, $50,000, even $80,000 per month or more. Many of them doing it part-time. So if you want to learn the same playbook, the link's below. It's exactly what I use. Now back to the video. Red flag number 1, they negotiate hard on fees before the relationship starts. So again, a client who works hardest to reduce your fee upfront will cause the most problems. Stubborn, childish, like irrational downstream. They are telling you how they view your value before a single deliverable is even completed, before you even get a chance to allow you to show them what you bring to the table. They're just going to say, we want to work with you, but the fee is too high. Take it or leave it. What they mean is, hey, we will squeeze you as much as we can through the entire engagement. So your best response, hold your fee or walk. Premium client pays premium fees. If you're going to work with a difficult client, don't do it. But if you're going to do it, the only way is that at least get your premium top dollar fees. Clients who negotiate fees below standard rate at an engagement start at 3.1x more likely to dispute deliverables, delay payments, or terminate contracts. Save yourself some time and headaches. Number 2, they're just again vague on success and they vanish after signing. We'll know it when we see it. So without a clear definition of success, you can never deliver. And they can always claim you didn't. Require written success criteria before any engagement begins. Learn how to take that job well. Write it down. Repeat it to them. Get their confirmation. No exceptions. Engagements without documented success criteria results in scope disputes 67% of the time versus 11% with written definitions. Urgency to start, then silence. This is the worst. You get excited, they get excited, and then they disappear. We need this ASAP. Sign the agreement, and then 2 weeks of silence. Urgency to close is often manufactured. So what you should do a test. Require 48-hour kickoff call as a condition of starting. Clients who fail to schedule intake call within 5 business days result in placements only 23% of the time versus 61% for those who schedule within 48. When you work with new clients, guys, you're meeting someone new. It's like dating. If they can't meet you in the middle, you're seeing blatant red flags. The easiest way is to like, okay, cool, I'm red flags, but I'm giving you benefit of the doubt. Let's do maybe a kickoff call, a launch call. That's what we call it, so that you get more buy-in and you just double check before you actually put your hard work into this to see if it's actually worth it. Super clutch. Number 4, they've worked with multiple recruiters and fired them all. You want to listen very carefully for, hey, we've tried other recruiters, but they never delivered. Why? Occasionally true, but more often client is the reason the search failed, not the recruiters. Yes, there are a lot of bad recruiters out there, but a lot of it could be the client. So you want to ask specifically when you hear this, what specifically made those engagements successful? If they blame the recruiters exclusively with zero accountability and self-reflection, that can happen to you. Bad clients, they leave a long trail of people who couldn't deliver for them without taking any accountability, looking at themselves in the mirror. The clients reporting 3+ failed prior recruitment engagement shows a 71% likelihood of becoming a problematic client themselves. Number 5, the decision maker is not in the room. You are sold on the engagement by someone who needs approval from someone else, who has not been a part of the conversation, may not even know you were even hired. It's a huge issue. You get delayed feedback, changing requirements, contesting results because the real authority was never aligned. Here is the rule. Before signing, you must have a direct conversation with the person with the authority who will sign the offer. No access to the real decision maker is no engagement. This is a clear rule that me and my agency follows even to this day. Searches where the hiring authority was not directly engaged before the start results in placements only 29% of the time versus 64%. We only want to work with the person with the authority to approve external partners like us, but also the direct hiring manager, and usually they're the same person. If not, make sure you talk also to the founder or the executive who's going to sign you off. Here are the 3 question clients intake that changes everything. A structured intake process reduces problematic engagements by 58% and increases fill rate by 22% across over 150 independent recruiters. You want to listen for specificity, ownership, and collaboration. So number 1, past hire performance. Walk me through the last role that you hired for in this function. How did it go? You want to see a trail of crumbs of success, a good track record here, because if they've done it before, they can do it again. Prior recruiter experience. What happened with the last recruiter you work with on a search like this? Again, listen carefully for the blame game. If all they do is the blame game, be careful. Definition of success. What does success for the search look like to you specifically, right? Make sure it's specific and clear as possible. And if it's not, stay on the line and go deeper until it is. Saying no and having the confidence to say no is such an important skill. Every hour not spent on a bad client is an hour available for a great one, right? Just because you work with a bad client now doesn't mean all clients are bad. There are great ones out there. Your best clients come from referrals, from other great clients, not from tolerating bad ones. 4.2x is the true cost of build fees lost per problematic clients in time. 58% fewer problems, reduction in problematic engagements with a structured 3-question intake, and over $120,000 is the opportunity cost. A $40,000 engagement consuming 60% of your bandwidth costs you this lost opportunity when you can be working on better opportunities with better clients. If this video helped and you want to see more tips about clients, let me know down below, but really appreciate it, and we'll see you on the next one.